Hey, what's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here in the update room here with just a little update on this major fire that's going on here in Northern California um, called the Park Fire. Now, this fire started yesterday and just in the upper Bidwell Park area outside of Chico. By an individual that set a car on fire and basically rolled it down a hill and started this huge fire that has gotten way out of control. I wanted to show you this image here real quick. Look at that tornado. That is a fire tornado that stirred up here with this fire there in Northern California earlier. Look at that circulation. Crazy. I wonder if I could slow this thing down a little bit. I don't think we can. But if you bring this in, watch this rotation that stirs up right there. Swirling. That was pretty crazy. That's a fire tornado, and that is due to all the heat, the convection going on. This fire, obviously creating its own wind pattern as well. But yeah, right about in this time frame right here, we really see it start to swirl up. Look at that upward updraft going on there, creating that vortex, a fire tornado. That is super duper scary. Look at that, wound tightly right there. You don't see that too often. You really don't. I think the last time we seen something like that was up in Redding with the car fire a few years back. So let's go ahead and chat about what's going on here with this fire. This is Northern California. Let me back out here a little bit. This fire has grown tremendously just in about a 24-hour time period from yesterday to 120,000 acres, making this one of the more notable fires out here in California. In fact, probably California history, far as the time and rapid fire spread that's taken place as of the past 24 hours out here. Here's the perimeter here of the fire in the red. The orange here indicative of hot spots that are being detected there, thermal hot spots by the satellites. The fire now is starting to spread up here towards the Paradise area. Here's Chico, city of Chico right down here. Paradise up here, up the hill. This fire is generally burning to the north. There's a lot of spot fires going on right now. Where I was just out covering that on a live stream here. It's sitting north of Chico out here off 99 there for a couple hours viewing this wildfire. But we got massive spotting going on here. The wind is strong out of the south, but also at the same time it's burning uphill into some of these wooded areas. And a lot of tall, dry vegetation up there as well. Here's Paradise. They are now underneath an evacuation warning, at least for a portion of Paradise. It's a little scary. These guys just went through that big fire, the campfire, a few years back, right? Pretty much burnt down the entire town of Paradise. Now they're underneath an evacuation warning. Not in order. Warning basically means to get ready. Get ready. Set, and then order 3, evacuation order level 3 would be go, meaning to get out of there because the fire is approaching quickly. So, a good portion of Paradise here in the yellow underneath an evacuation warning. That's level 2, and here is the numbers here. Everyone that lives up in this area is probably familiar with these numbers in terms of location and zones. This map that I'm using right here is from the watchduty.org app. You can get it for your mobile phone. You can use it on your desktop. I'm here on the desktop, and it's a handy dandy feature here to watch and keep track of everything that's going on here with this fire. Again, it's at 120,000 acres. Earlier this morning, it was about 70,000, so it has grown almost double in that time frame. 3% containment. This is not going to be one of those fires that we're going to easily get a handle on, because if you look at where this is burning, it's burning up north here into the Tehama Wildlife Area, but also if it catches this general area, the wooded areas, the forested areas, it can burn further up into the mountains, up towards Lake Almanor. Lake Almanor is a good distance here, but remember the what was that fire called? The Dixie Fire, right? If I remember right. was up here a couple years back, and it almost got Chester. It burnt down Greenville and a lot of other areas out here around the Lake Almanor region. That was a big fire. Also burned up into the Mount Lassen area. Let me tell you this, though. This is not volcanic activity. I've seen a couple folks there mentioning that this has to do with a volcano there here in Northern California that's lighting up all these fires. I want to repeat, Mount Lassen is up here. The fire did not start at Mount Lassen. This started right up here at the Bidwell Park area, Upper Bidwell Park, from a gentleman there that allegedly caught a car on fire and rolled it down the canyon there, and it just took off like crazy. And it burned quite a bit. So it's not volcanic, folks. It is not. I would tell you. And the smoke would be different. We would not be seeing the color smoke that we're seeing out there right now. Occasionally we do get some black smoke. Unfortunately, that's going to be some potential houses or equipment burning out there. And I definitely feel for these folks out here. The nerves are probably on end there. A lot of tension going on out here across this area. But the best thing to do is get out of there. If you're in the evacuation order zone, that's going to be in the red. And from what I hear, this fire has now jumped over 32, heading up further up into the area further east. 32 does run right about here. I don't know when this was updated here, but I was listening on the scanner that they're requesting more fire personnel to jump on a spot fire that started east here of 32. So that's bad news, because that can travel further up here towards the Lake Almanor once it gets into that wooded area, heavily wooded area. Granted, we did have that fire, and they did chop down a lot of the older dead trees that were burned from the last fire up here, but there's still a lot of dry vegetation and some areas that didn't burn. So this is kind of a big deal for this fire. Winds right now, let's see what we got for wind. Well, let me show you the satellite image real quick. Look at this. This is Northern California, obviously, West Coast. This is, what we got, 120 loops here. Massive fire growth, fire spotting, huge cumulus clouds being developed, and of course that fire tornado that kicked up here. Look at that swirl. You can see that smoke being sucked in and swirled around. That is an incredible image. We don't see it too often there. I would have loved to have seen that, but at the same time, that's, oh goodness, not for sure what the wind speeds were on that, but it did show up on radar as well as a rotation event. And obviously there, this camera from PG&E, the Alert Wildfire camera, caught this. Beautiful spin up. Deadly. Pretty crazy. So the wind out there right now, let's go over here to the windy map, and we'll see what's going on as far as wind speeds go. It was fairly light to moderate when I was out there doing the live stream earlier today. It's hot, though. Definitely hot. We got winds out of the south. Unfortunately, if you look up here, some of that wind is migrating off in this direction here towards Chester and Lake Almanor, right? That's going to spread that fire further up here. So I think that's a good sign that a good thing that they're getting people out of the Paradise area. It could backburn across this region. Never know. But wind speeds up there locally around 25 mile per hour gust, maybe higher around the fires. Overnight, things are looks like it's going to stay somewhat windy up there across this area where the fire is. And far as tomorrow goes, looks like another windy day with the wind pushing off in that same general pattern. I don't see any north wind. Now, if we happen to have a north wind out here, that would be about the worst you can get, because that would backburn here towards the Paradise area. But mainly looks like over the next few days, south wind. No major wind events going on here in terms of, like hurricane force winds or anything. But, all it takes here is a 10, 20 mile per hour wind gust, and it can really fuel that fire like we've seen today. We're really getting up there into the mountain range, into the wilderness. And 36 here, let's see. It's got to be getting close here. 36 runs up north here. Eventually, they'll probably close this down as the fire this goes up to Mount Lassen, of course, which is back over here again, Lassen Peak. And that fire is generally spreading off in that pattern, expanding over here to the east, but also at the same time expanding to the south east here as well, like we're seeing just outside of Paradise. Again, portions of Paradise underneath the evacuation warning there in the yellow, evacuation warning, evacuation orders here in the red. So, man, goodness, you know, it's that's a big one, and it's going to get bigger, unfortunately. I can't believe how fast it spread. 124,000 acres in just about 24 hours. That is incredible fire spread. But as you guys seen on my live video earlier, everything is dry. And, man, oh, yeah, it's not good. So, again, the watchduty.org app.watchduty.org is the website. If you go to your whether you have an iPhone or a Samsung, go to the App Store and type in Watch Duty, and it's a free program. I think there's a paid version. I just use the free one. I don't need any extra perks on here, but you can do everything that I'm doing with the free version. You can find out even the wind direction. See those little arrows here pointing off to the north? Gives a good general indicator of where the winds are moving to and where potentially the fire could be starting. Look at these little red dots here indicating satellite-based fire imagery. So it's burning up here. And as I mentioned on the radio, they mentioned about it skipping over 32 here. So once it's up here to the deeper forested areas, it's absolutely almost impossible to control. And where it's headed, hopefully it doesn't get up there. It's a ways up there. But, you know, Chester sits right there. So we'll be back a little bit later on to cover this and more. I just wanted to get a quick update on this fire. Yes, we have numerous fires across the West Coast, and if you look at the extended model here, I would say there's plenty of wildfires going on out here. Not due to volcanic activity, not due to an asteroid strike. You know, these are wildfires that lightning caused. A lot of up in Oregon are caused by lightning. We had a couple in Northern California. I believe that was caused by lightning. This one here, obviously not. If you check the news article, I'm not going to go into detail there, but there's a gentleman there that caught a car on fire up in Upper Bidwell Park here outside of Chico, and rolled it into the canyon here or into a little ravine, and all that dry grass and everything just took off. This is all just dry grass up here. Really not a whole lot of trees, but you know, man, it's spotted like crazy today. There's fires way ahead of it, on the side of it, back burning. This has the potential to be a very devastating fire. So we'll continue to watch it, continue to provide updates out here, and of course I'll cover all the rest of the earthquake activity a little bit later on this evening. And still watching Hawaii, right? Kilauea volcano. Eventually here we will see some type of change going on there as far as an eruption or maybe a displacement of the magma. But we'll cover that a little bit later on this evening in tonight's update. Stay safe out there, folks, and thanks for joining in earlier today. I had a little experience out there on some of those back roads outside of Chico, but you know, I understand, you know, the mindset, right? The potential that you could lose your home and your valuables and everything like that out there. Got some people on end, and you know, it was a little sketchy driving out there. The folks that were watching the live stream know what I'm talking about, but yeah, glad to be back home at the home base, and that's where I'm going to be here for a little while. We'll catch you guys back out here a little bit later on this evening, folks. That's it for the park fire information. Again, 124,000 acres burned. Rapid growth of spread here. And Paradise underneath an evacuation warning in the yellow. That includes a good portion here of Paradise as you come in off the Skyway. And it looks like the northern part up here as well. Magalia, not really heading up into Magalia yet, but you know, it's a little sketchy. Definitely want to be prepared. Don't want to be caught off guard with a wildfire knocking on your door out there. So just be safe, everyone. We'll catch you guys back out here a little bit later.